Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most divisive debates in British politics. Should the UK abolish the monarchy? You won't believe this, but a Labour MP is putting serious pressure on Keir Starmer to take a position that could radically change the face of British politics as we know it, and it's causing some real fireworks within the Labour Party. But before we get into all the juicy details, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Trust me, you won't want to miss the latest updates on UK politics. All right, let's break this down. The monarchy debate has long been a simmering issue in British politics, but it's not often that you hear a sitting MP publicly pushing their party leader to take such a dramatic stance. But that's exactly what's happening right now, with newly elected Labour MP Neil Duncan-Jordan making waves by calling for Keir Starmer to move the party towards abolishing the monarchy. Duncan-Jordan, who just won his pool seat in Dorset by a razor-thin margin, defeating his Conservative rival by only 18 votes, didn't waste any time in stirring the pot. At a Labour fringe event hosted by Labour for a Republic, Duncan-Jordan took the stage and issued a blunt challenge to Starmer and the rest of the Labour leadership. His message? It's time for Labour to modernise and take a real stance on the future of the monarchy. We need to move to a better position on the monarchy, Duncan-Jordan said, arguing that debating the role of the monarchy should be a core issue for Labour's future. And this wasn't a casual remark. He was urging Labour members to take this message back to their CLPs, constituency Labour parties, and trade unions, mobilising support for a broader discussion on whether Britain should remain a constitutional monarchy. Duncan-Jordan's speech was nothing short of a call to arms for Republicans within the Labour Party. He emphasised that, without this debate, Labour would be missing a key opportunity to address social justice, inequality and democracy. According to Duncan-Jordan, the existence of a hereditary monarchy is fundamentally at odds with the values Labour claims to uphold. But here's the kicker. Despite his outspoken position, Duncan-Jordan is facing a steep, uphill battle. The Labour Party, under Starmer's leadership, has been noticeably quiet on republicanism. Starmer himself, though once a self-proclaimed Republican, has tempered his views since becoming party leader. In fact, back in 2005, Starmer was caught on camera admitting that he had proposed the abolition of the monarchy several times in the past, but fast forward to his leadership bid in 2020, and Starmer's tone was far more measured. He argued for downsizing the monarchy rather than scrapping it altogether, and even went on to call the royal family a beacon of hope for millions. So, why the shift? Well, it's no secret that the monarchy remains wildly popular in the UK, particularly among older voters and Tory loyalists. A recent YouGov poll conducted in August revealed that 65% of Brits still support the monarchy, and a staggering 94% of Conservative voters want to keep it. Even within Labour's own voter base, a majority of 55% prefer retaining the monarchy over an elected head of state. With those numbers in mind, it's easy to see why Starmer might be hesitant to embrace Duncan-Jordan's call for an open debate on republicanism. Labour is walking a tightrope as it prepares for the next general election. Starmer knows he needs to appeal to centrist voters, many of whom are still comfortable with the monarchy. But Duncan-Jordan isn't backing down. He sees the monarchy as an outdated institution and has joined forces with groups like Labour for a Republic, which are pushing for significant constitutional reforms. Their proposals include extending the Equality Act to protect workers employed by the monarchy, making the royal family subject to the Freedom of Information Act, and modernising the oath of allegiance for MPs. These Republicans believe the tide is slowly turning in their favour, pointing to how support for the monarchy has been waning among younger generations. And while the monarchy still enjoys strong backing among the British public overall, the long-term trend could shift as more millennials and Gen Z voters grow politically active. Of course, it's important to note that Duncan-Jordan isn't alone in his views. Other notable Labour MPs like Clive Lewis, the former Shadow Defence Secretary under Jeremy Corbyn, have also voiced Republican sentiments. Lewis even staged a protest during his swearing-in ceremony, taking the oath of allegiance under protest and expressing hope that one day Britain will become a republic. But this isn't just about ideological positioning. Duncan-Jordan's victory in Poole is also a signal of something bigger happening in British politics. Reform UK's candidate garnered a whopping 7,429 votes in his constituency, revealing a growing anti-establishment sentiment in some parts of the country. While this was mostly a right-wing challenge, it suggests that voters are increasingly looking for radical alternatives, something both Labour's left and right may try to capitalise on in the coming years. So, what does all this mean for Starmer? Will the growing Republican voices within his party force him to address the issue? Or will he continue to sidestep it in favour of more moderate mainstream policies? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. Duncan Jordan's speech has ignited a fire within Labour that could be hard to put out. While Starmer faces internal pressure over the monarchy, he's also dealing with an embarrassing controversy that has led some to compare it to Partygate, the scandal that ultimately led to Boris Johnson's downfall. Here's the situation. In December 2021, Starmer recorded a COVID message, urging the public to stay home and get their booster shots as the Omicron variant swept through the UK. The video featured what appeared to be a typical home setting, complete with family photos and greeting cards in the background. It gave the impression that Starmer was speaking from his residence in Kentish Town, North London. But in a shocking revelation, it's now been uncovered that the video was actually filmed in Lord Ali's £18 million penthouse in Covent Garden, not Starmer's own home. Starmer has since admitted to using the flat, claiming his family needed a quiet space for his son to revise for his GCSEs during the election season. However, the timeline has raised serious questions, with critics pointing out that the GCSE season didn't quite align with when the flat was in use. This revelation has caused quite a stir, with some likening it to Johnson's infamous Partygate scandal, where the former Prime Minister faced backlash for breaking his own lockdown rules. GB News presenter Stephen Dixon even asked on air, "Is this another Partygate?" It's an accusation that could spell trouble for Starmer, especially as the Labour leader tries to position himself as a clean, transparent alternative to the scandal-ridden Conservatives. Even though Starmer's flat gate doesn't quite have the same explosive impact as Partygate, it's raising concerns about transparency. Why didn't Starmer declare his use of the penthouse for political purposes? And why was the public misled into thinking that the video was shot in his own home? These are questions that could hurt Starmer's image at a time when trust in politicians is already critically low. Conservative MPs have been quick to jump on the controversy, with some calling for Starmer to explain himself. Even some Labour MPs are reportedly unhappy with how the situation has been handled behind the scenes, fearing it could damage the party's credibility just as it's trying to rebuild trust with voters. Starmer may have weathered bigger storms in the past, but with Labour's first party conference while in government looming, this is the last thing he needs right now. As Labour prepares for what could be a pivotal election, the debate over the monarchy could become an unexpected flashpoint within the party. On one hand, Neil Duncan Jordan's call for a republic is gaining traction among the progressive wing of the party. On the other, Keir Starmer knows that going too far in that direction could alienate swing voters who still back the monarchy. At the same time, Starmer is dealing with an embarrassing scandal of his own making, one that threatens to erode the very message of integrity and transparency that he's built his leadership around. Whether it's the monarchy debate or the controversy over his COVID video, Starmer is facing pressure from all sides. But what do you think? Should Labour seriously consider abolishing the monarchy? And do you think Starmer's Flatgate scandal is something to worry about, or just a political distraction? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on UK politics.